Boston Red here on the 24th of July 2013. Our episode is Walmart versus Gene Lantz. Gene Lantz is a trade union in Dallas, Texas, and Walmart is taking him on. We'll have more on that story as we move along here. First, we'll go to the Motor City, Detroit, and the latest developments there in the mammoth record-breaking bankruptcy there. It's on various levels as far as the legal action is concerned. We'll first go to the Michigan Court of Appeals, which sits in Lansing, Michigan. Has put a halt. I'm reading here from a dispatch by WXYZ in Detroit. Action 7, they call it. Nonetheless, this is a recent dispatch on Tuesday. Nonetheless, the Michigan Court of Appeals has put a halt to all further proceedings in cases brought by the Detroit pension funds in their attempt to halt the city's filing for Chapter 9 bankruptcy protection. The order staying the proceedings will remain in effect pending the outcome of the Governor Rick Snyder's appeal from an order by the Ingham County Circuit Judge, as Rosemary Aquila ordered Snyder to order the withdrawal of bankruptcy petition, saying it violated the Michigan Constitution and protection of public employees' pensions. In its order, the Court of Appeals also set a deadline of Friday at 5 p.m. for all parties in the case to submit their formal answers to the governor's appeal. Today's ruling comes less than 24 hours before the first hearing will be held in the federal bankruptcy court. We'll get to that in just a minute. The judge in that court has already said he has jurisdiction over the state court because federal law supersedes state law when there is a conflict between the two. No doubt about that. I can recall a few years ago I was in a bankruptcy hearing, involved in one, and that particular hearing we had a state action in one state and a federal bankruptcy action, actually two, one personal, one business, out west in Nevada. So if you really want to get into a spaghetti soup, you have Nevada law at the same time as you have the federal bankruptcy law, and at the same time there was a civil case going on in the Midwest. But nonetheless, back to where we are here. The first hearing on the Chapter 9 is set for 10 a.m. in the federal courthouse. That's downtown Detroit. Judge Stephen Rose is expected to deal with the biggest challenge to the bankruptcy case. That includes an order to stop the Chapter 9 proceedings quickly. He is expected to rule on challenges brought by the 30,000 active and retired city workers on either Wednesday or Thursday. Now, there are roughly about 10,000 active workers in the city of Detroit. The order from the Governor Snyder to stop the Detroit bankruptcy case on the grounds it violates the Michigan Constitution, which prohibits public employee pension funds from being cut, was issued, and we talked about that, and a stay has been put by the Michigan Court of Appeals. Rose has already issued an order saying that he has jurisdiction, which he does in this particular case. The Wednesday hearing, that'll be later today, is being moved from the bankruptcy court to the main court. Obviously, they can't get the reporters in there. The Detroit pension funds are underfunded by $3.5 billion, and two Detroit city worker pensions face cuts in the Chapter 9 proceeding. And of course, if he rules against them, they can still appeal. They have a right to appeal from the bankruptcy court. So in other words, it would go back to Cincinnati there, and this thing could go on for quite a while. Experts say any ruling will be huge because it will set the legal precedent that could make all public employee pension vulnerable where other cities are in financial trouble. No doubt about that. This is not just a Detroit issue. This is a nationwide issue. We try to cover stories as much as possible that originate perhaps in a local venue, but at the same time they have national impact. It's the same as in the case of Gene Lantz and the mega retail outfit Walmart. So these two things are coming along. It's been one of those things that's still moving along here, and it will continue to move along in the city of Detroit. The city of Detroit, of course, is 18.5 billion. This is an 18.5 billion bankruptcy filing. It's been ongoing. We talked a little about that on the Monday Morning Quarterback, and some commentary from various people that have been on the scene. And there was a little clip that we had it, but from a Detroit mayor, I believe it was Kavanaugh, back in '68, before Coleman Young appeared, that the transition of federal funds to states and not cities was creating a problem, and it's a tremendous problem. Of course, today, under the rabid partisanship, the Republicans have the House, and of course the Republicans have a legislature in the state of Michigan. They've already passed a right-to-work law there, which would have been unthinkable at one time when the Ruffer brothers were there organizing. But it has happened, and they have played the same old race politics. The same race politics you see in the Trayvon Martin case is the same they have played with Detroit. Detroit is today is 80% African American. At one time, it was a city of 2 million. But they had white flight after the rebellions in Detroit, which, in my opinion, were justified. And after that, they're down now to 700,000. But it has been neglected by various regimes that set in Lansing, Michigan, and also by corruption within the city government, just as Detroit got picked on a third world atmosphere, and the only game in town, and this happens a lot in Jersey, cover a lot of Jersey politics, that in Jersey has many small villages and hamlets, unlike obviously city of Detroit does not have a city in Jersey that has 700,000 people. But however, there are millions of people in Jersey when you add up all the little villages, hamlets, and cow pastures. Jersey does have cows, has a thriving dairy industry in certain parts of Jersey, and not in Newark, where the Twitter King has his ghetto habitat. But nonetheless, Detroit and its problems have just been exacerbated, and primarily the problems in Detroit are traced back to the big three: GM, Ford, Chrysler, etc. They moved many of their plants out of the city of Detroit, and thus robbing Detroit of that tax base and that worker base, and many more companies moved out of the city of Detroit into suburban areas where the white flight went to. So that changed forever the lives of the people of Detroit, the tax base there. Abandoned houses. Now this is before the Depression, the last Depression, not the Great Depression, but the last Depression in 2008. They had massive foreclosures, or just abandonment actually, in the city of Detroit. Both businesses and people abandoned the city. Many of those people are now in Texas, Perry's, Paradise Land, and other places. Thus, that drain of the city has continued on to the point that Detroit, I don't know if today, did not even have a supermarket. They had some smaller establishments, but not supermarket. If you want a supermarket, you had to go outside of the city of Detroit, across the bridge to Windsor, Ontario. So that is the story of Detroit. We'll leave it there with the city of Detroit, and we'll go to other news, and then we'll get to Walmart and their escapades in Texas. Just quickly jumping on some things. Anthony Weiner is at it again. He had his wife by his side. Evidently, he continued his ways on Twitter or on social media during his various posting, sexually explicit posting. Nothing new there. But what is different is he is a mayoral candidate. Therefore, he's under increased scrutiny. And as LBJ would say, anyone's been to a goat roping contest that does not believe that one of the opponents in this particular mayoral race, he was ahead statistically in the polls, is behind this. So nonetheless, he had his wife there. She's a longtime aide to Hillary Monster Clinton, Hannah Abindi. Okay, Abindum. And nonetheless, she was a lady that was always with Hillary Clinton traveling around Iowa. I wonder, was she the one that ordered the shovels? Who knows? Those shovels are still in the warehouse in Iowa, and as of today, I'm not sure if the monster ever literally paid the people for the shovels. But nonetheless, shovels and no shovels, Anthony Weiner is in trouble again. He was the Congress type from the city of New York, and he also ran for mayor once before and was pretty close there in terms of capturing the office. So thus, they made a statement. They put things behind them. He said, I'm glad these things are behind us. I know that this is a very public thing that happened to us, but by no means does this change the fundamentals of my feelings here. That's what Weiner said. And that I want to bring my vision to the people of the city of New York. Well, we'll find out in some of the new polls how his vision is going to work out. He no doubt will take a hit, but people know who he is, and he's well known as the Twitter man. Not the Twitter king, but the Twitter man. He jumped into this race actually later in the game and all of a sudden surpassed all these people because he had a base, and we'll see if he can continue to lead there. Basically, you have Quinn, who is the chair of the city council, and Weiner, and then you have the others, our buddy Bill Thompson, and the controller now, Mr. Liu, and various other, as one would say, lesser-known candidates, and they are indeed lesser known, but they have to sort this all out. The falling star in the state of Virginia, the governor there, McDonald, said that he paid back the loan that has had him in the hot water. Old McConnell, he's a minority leader in the Senate. He got a highly contested race against Gaines there. This Gaines, she's the Secretary of State, youthful person, against a man in his 70s. Now he's literally hosting the Tea Party concert, and they also celebrated Bob Dole, compromised his 90th birthday. There, as lawmakers of all stripes, I just read this, the politicals celebrate legendary deal-making Republican Senator Bob Dole, his 90th birthday in the Capitol on Saturday. A decade of less conversing groups huddled just a few paces away. That was a Tea Party caucus. Old McDonald was there to host them. Even John McCain, I suppose, passed by. All these characters want to be seen with those people. Two members of the leadership team, as they call themselves, attended. Cornyn, well, you'll hear Gene Lantz talk about him. And old Roy Blunt, well, he's been a right-winger forever. He's from Missouri. Cornyn, he's up for re-election in 2014 in Texas. And so is McConnell. But McConnell is in more trouble in Kentucky. And he knows it. The character from Regis Priebus, he's the chair of the Republican Party after they eased out Michael Steele. Priebus used to be Michael Steele's assistant. Michael Steele, of course, an African American, attended the meeting, telling attendees, I come from the Tea Party movement. Well, it'll be interesting to see how far the Tea Party movement will carry these people. Other people, of course, there. Rand Paul, Lee of Udall, Tim Scott. He's almost forgot about him. African American senator from South Carolina. Sessions from Alabama, Cruz from Texas, as well as Mike Enzi. I guess he had to show up because of the challenge by Liz Cheney. He has to, as they say, cross all dots and I's and basically kiss the Tea Party's ass. Oh well. It'll keep him in office, and I suppose if he can stay in office, he'll be a quote-unquote, what I guess they call a happy soldier. How happy? We don't literally know at this point in time. And Politico just disappeared from us. I'm not sure what happened with Politico. Well, anyway, nonetheless, we'll, just as they say, move. There's been a lot of DNS problems out there. We'll go on to the Gene Lantz story, and then you'll hear from Gene Lantz. We'll just start right here. He is the chair. This is Gene Lantz, lives in Dallas, Texas. He's the chair of the retirees committee of Local 848. Former machinist. He's with Jobs for Justice, and a member of the CPUSA. Nonetheless, in June, Walmart filed a legal action against Lantz. The United Food and Commercial Workers Union, the organizing United for Respect at Walmart, alleging trespass. It seeks a permanent injunction against Lantz and other defendants, as well as less than $100,000 in damages. They don't care about the $100,000 in damages. What they care about is their reputation. What these people were doing were talking to shoppers at Walmart, explaining to them the working conditions. Now, they did not call for a boycott of Walmart, just what the workers at Walmart were up against. And the article here goes on to say these were well documented, including paying wages so low that many of its workers must receive public assistance to get by, discrimination against women, locking workers in warehouses. Incidentally, there's several retailers do that, including Target. Overburden of part-time workers who never can be sure of how many hours they are going to get. A rabid disdain for workers' rights to form a union. No doubt about that. Rabid is not a very good, inadequate adjective to use. And quoting him, I think I was singled out because I'm taller than that. I recall him meeting him in '79. He is a tall person. He was a tall person then. He's evidently a tall person now. I was looking at a YouTube video of him, and you'll hear some from his radio show, which we'll get to in a minute. One of his fears that other employees in their quest to compete with Walmart will not adopt the methods of treating workers like commodities instead of like human beings, and will need to provide food, shelter, and other essentials for their family. Lantz has been a dedicated labor activist since the 70s. In addition to his duties as retiree chair of a local, he hosts a local labor-oriented radio show, long affiliated with the local Jobs for Justice program, writing about the workspace. He also produces YouTube videos containing endorsements of local Walmart workers, etc. His work has not gone unnoticed. The Dallas area AFL-CIO honored him on Labor Day with its Hero of Labor Award there, and that was from Mr. Mundos, the president of Local 848, which represents aerospace workers at Trump and Vought aerospace structure in Grand Prairie, Texas. Is one of many courageous UAW labor activists sticking up for Walmart workers. What they did to Gene and what they're doing to me, Munoz said, adding Walmart's characterization of protesters as intimidating and using in-your-face tactics is false. Well, Walmart's been known to be a group of pathological liars for a long time. At the protest he was part of with 7 or 8 other UAW members, all activists conducted themselves in a very professional manner, talking with customers outside the store and workers inside. They didn't run us out, Munoz said. There were no confrontations. Gary Jones, he's director of Region 4 for the UAW, including Texas, has long known about the activism of 848. Now to the radio show. Let's get it up here so we can get their call letters up there. It is KNON. That is 90 and start over again. 89.3 FM there. The program is called The Workers Beat. It's from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. On that particular channel. It is community radio. So again, that is KNON, The Workers Beat, at 9 to 10. And we'll have that down on our site so you can catch the Workers Beat. And one other item here from the business-oriented newspaper here. None other than the Dallas News. And it says Gene Lantz tells what it's like to be sued by the largest corporation in America. Maria Hackles is the person, and this is on the 19th of June. It takes a lot to intimidate retired machinist Gene Lantz. He didn't seem too nervous about being sued by the largest company in America. It's not every day that individuals get sued by Walmart. So I wanted to know a little about him. I just took the paperwork to my lawyer, he said, and doing a short interview this morning. Lantz, 72, was served Tuesday morning while still in his pajamas at his home in the Oak Cliff section of Dallas. Do you have the resources to fight Walmart? He really never answers the question. Well, the whole problem there obviously is he doesn't have the resources, nor would any individual, nor would any trade union, but it is a permanent injunction hearing, so it's not going to be that costly. There may be a passing of the hat at some point to unions and members, which now the North Texas Jobs with Justice get funds. The branch has no office or staff. He co-founded the Dallas branch in 1990. That's 23 years ago. And it was also sued in Fort Worth State Court by Walmart Inc. on Friday. Other defendants in the lawsuit, United Food and Commercial Workers Union, OURWalmart, and 10 other unnamed people listed as Does. Well, John Doe defendants are quite common. When you don't know the defendants, you list them as John Does. But nonetheless, it's in state court, so state court costs less than being in federal court. And getting a permanent injunction, very interesting right there. They could be countersued, but we'll see how that works out. Walmart wants a group to be permanently restrained from trespassing on Walmart property in Texas for unlawful activities. Since May, 5 similar lawsuits have been filed by Walmart in other states. Today he posts his reaction on Labor Dallas.org and on his Facebook page under the heading Walmart Seeks Sympathy. He said, "Don't pay Walmart. I don't feel a bit sorry for them, Walmart. It is a desperate plea for attention." Lantz said in an interview on Wednesday. Lantz has been a union man for most of his working career. He retired from Von Corp in 2002. So he's been retired over 10 years after working 27 years. He is the chair of the United Auto Workers Union Local 848, retirees, not the chair, that's Mr. Mundos. Prior to that, he worked at Dressler when he joined his first union, the United Steelworkers of America. There he walked out during a strike in 1978 and joined his first picket line. The union bug was installed in Lantz by his father. Lantz was born in Oklahoma. His father worked in the oil fields of Texas and Oklahoma. Lantz's first job was in the oil fields near Papa, Texas, where another famous person was born there, I believe, Woody Guthrie. His dad talked positive about union all the time. He went to work in Bakersfield. That's out in California. Has a lot of oil rigs there. Been to Bakersfield. It's been a long time. For a short time, and when he came back, he said they have unions there, and it was wonderful. Well, no doubt Gene Lantz does not stand alone, and he will not stand alone. Other trade unionists and people of, as they say, fair minds will no doubt come to his aid. And go to his Facebook page, and you'll find him there. There's a photo here in the Dallas News, Morning News, of Lantz standing at the Haymarket Memorial in Chicago. Haymarket Massacre there was the fight for the 8-hour day, another frame-up of working people. We've talked about the Haymarket on various of our May Day presentations. So on we go to Gene Lantz. A combination of a number of shows. The Workers Beat, we'll have that now. That is from WNON 89.3 in Dallas Community Radio. Nonetheless, this is Boston Red for Walmart Inc. versus Gene Lantz on the 24th of June 2013. As a poet laureate of Newark, New Jersey, one L.A. Bill Graham, a man that knows something about trade unions, would say, peace out. Have a good day.
And they didn't know why they were protesting. But the reason they're protesting, I found out online this morning, is that there's a bill in Congress, I think it's already passed, called the Protect Monsanto Bill.
Yes.
And so that Monsanto, the chemical company, can do anything they want and they won't get sued for it.
Genetically modified crops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about all that. But the idea that there's a chemical company that's so powerful that it can get a bill passed in Congress that nobody can sue them, that's going a little too far, I think.
Yeah.
So the protests today are at 1 o'clock. There's one in Fort Worth. There's one in Dallas. The one in Dallas meets at City Hall at 1 o'clock. City Hall is at 1500 Marilla Street. They will go down to the farmers market because that's where the crops are sold, and they'll use this opportunity to share with fellow citizens. Then they'll circle back up to the City Hall to complete the event. Now, the one in Fort Worth, Bonnie, do you know where they start? I know it's a park. Is there an Oak Leaf Park or something like that?
Maybe.
It's a park in Fort Worth. Somebody call us at 972-647-1893.
Yes, and it is a worldwide. I mean, I've seen it all over Facebook for the last couple of days.
I think they're marching in Waco, too, in Austin. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure they are because I saw an article from somebody that lives in what they call the mid Central Texas, somewhere around Waco.
Okay.
So there's going to be marches everywhere against Monsanto, very controversial, Because, first of all, they came up with a way to feed the world. The Green Revolution is what we used to call it back in the 60s. They were working then on some way to get food for everybody, and to increase crop yield so well that they would have food for everybody. Well, they invented it.
Yeah.
They found a way to get food for everybody, and then they said, you have to pay us.
now you have to pay us.
Yeah.
Because we came up with a way to feed everybody.
And they have to pay them big time, too. In the Supreme Court, a farmer just lost a lawsuit. He wanted to replant some of the leftover seeds from the previous year, and the Supreme Court said, no, you have to pay Monsanto. So Monsanto is the target, and there's worldwide demonstrations today. Tonight at the Mecca restaurant will be the forum. What is it that they call that? The College of Complexes.
College of Complexes, yeah.
That is an odd name.
You've spoke there, haven't you?
Well, I'm an odd speaker.
Well, so there is that.
It's an odd thing. That takes place at 5815 Live Oak Street tonight at 6:30. That's every Saturday.
I
guess we could start mentioning that every Saturday. Tom Berry and Susan Duarte kind of run that, and they are really nice people. And it's a worthwhile, very educational. It's not always just one side or the other. I mean, they take both sides and things. The big deal that I'm working on, Bonnie, is the June 1st.
Yay.
Walmart workers, we think they're going to go on strike.
Woo!
And around the country, people are doing stuff at the end of May and on June the 1st in support of the Walmart workers. And then they are traveling to Arkansas.
Right.
Because Walmart's going to have its board of directors meeting in Bentonville, as usual. And so the Walmart workers are going to go down and say, hey, how about us?
Right. I made a contribution to the Our Walmart folks to help bring a couple of people over from Bangladesh.
You did?
Yes.
Those are the people that were in the apparel plant that fell apart?
Right. And they, part of that plant was making stuff for Walmart.
Are those Bangladesh people going to come here, you think?
Yes, that's the plan.
They'll come to Dallas. Well, that'll be something.
They're trying to raise, I think it's going to cost $8,700 to...
And we can thank Bonnie Mathias for chipping in.
A small contribution.
Well, I tell people all the time that I got Nelson Mandela out of jail. And, my contribution was small.
That's right.
But I was on the right side.
There you go.
And I stopped the war in Vietnam. I was on the right side of that, and a whole bunch of things that I can list on and on.
Exactly.
That maybe I didn't actually do it by myself.
But you were part of the solution.
Maybe my contribution wasn't decisive, but I knew which side I was on.
That's right.
And that's what we ask everybody to do that's listening. Call in at 972-647-1893 if you're interested.
You need to be part of the solution. Morning.
The Workers' Beat is the program for working people. 972-647-1893. If you're one of the working people that likes to call into KNON, we want you to make a pledge. It's the fund drive. We're desperate.
And we're almost there. We are so close.
We're begging. We're doing this program on our knees, brothers and sisters. We're actually on our knees begging to try to keep the Workers' Beat on the air. Workers' Beat has been on the air ever since KNON has.
And that's that's like 30, that's about to be 30 years.
Going on 30 years, yeah. Wow. And it's always, KNON's always had a commitment to working people. And it's always had a commitment to success for working people. And frankly, that only means one thing, and that's organizing.
Organize.
We're going to, next week, we're going to have the Walmart people on. Because that's a very, very vital organizing drive. In fact, I think it's the central organizing drive in the United States and possibly in the world.
I think you're right.
Because the Walmart model is spreading so that no matter what job you have, no matter who you work for, they try to treat you like Walmart workers.
Yep. Part-time, no benefits, expensive...
Keep you scared to death all the time.
Expensive health benefits that you can't afford. It looks like everybody's taking on the Walmart model. I saw this last week that, I believe it was in Wisconsin, some Dollar Tree workers went on strike.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fast food workers in New York have gone on strike.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a strike at Walmart.
Yes, there is.
I don't know if we can give the details or not, but we're going to have Walmart people on next week so we can find out about that.
That's going to be great.
Meantime, though, you're going to have to make sure we're still here next week.
That's right.
So get your checkbook out. Write a check.
And I'm Bonnie Mathias.
And what's the number here?
972-647-1893. It is Pledge Drive, and we need your help to keep us on the air.
Yeah, we need you, and you need us too, because we announce things that you need to know about. For example, today is the biggest food drive in the United States. It takes place here in Texas. The National Association of Letter Carriers will pick up food at your mailbox. So put the cans out for your mailbox. If you're writing a check or something, make it to North Texas Food Bank. I'm not sure how that all goes, but today is the day for the biggest food drive in the United States. Okay, on May the 18th will be the Labor Fest. They're going to have culture, history, music. They're going to bring it all together. Bonnie, you going to that?
I am going to be there. I'm going to have a table to promote APRI, which is the A. Philip Randolph Institute, and also CLUE, which is the Coalition of Labor Union Women, and CWA.
Communications
Workers of America.
Yeah.
We represent the majority of the AT&T employees in the Southwest.
And a bunch of other people.
And a bunch of other people.
And you're also interested in organizing people that want to organize.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's on May the 18th. On May the 20th, the Texas Alliance for Retired Americans will be releasing the voting records of area congresspersons. If you want to know how your congressperson voted on retiree issues, we'll have that on May the 20th.
That should be very interesting.
June the 1st is going to be exciting because there's going to be another Walmart rally.
Walmart.
This is the first one since Black Monday, since they did
Black
the
Friday,
strike and everything. Oh,
yeah.
Black Friday.
Black Friday, yeah.
Okay. No wonder I was late.
I know, right? See, that's what happened.
Okay, well, our Walmart rally will be gathered